Good morning, Delaware. We are happy to be here on this sunshiny Friday morning. It's a ball in the sky of light that we haven't seen.
And if it could just send down some of that radioactive heat, I'm in.
You take what you get.
I want the heat. I'll take the heat.
Exactly. We are, I'm Nicole, that's Molly, Mark's on the board, and we are joined this morning by Alexis Singleton. Alexis is in our maker studio. You probably see her at the Delaware and Liberty branches when you come and make your beautiful creations. Good morning, Alexis.
Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we're celebrating Happy Valentine's Day. I'm going to be a little Cupid, just passing out, hearts and arrows.
It's really darling. You should it's really darling.
All day long. Yeah, I've got my girls. My girls bullied me into getting their Valentines.
I love your girls bullying you into being lovely.
And then I was like, well, fine. If you're gonna make me take you to go get Valentines, then I'm gonna get some too.
I just love that about you. I love that. I'm in my Valentine shirt.
Yeah,
it's my nerdy Valentine shirt. Mm-hmm. It's Star Trek and conversation hearts. So it says highly logical and beam me up, Scotty. But they're on conversation hearts.
They are conversation.
And there's the hand sign that
live long and prosper.
That one. Which I always call the nanu.
The correct response to is long life and happiness.
Oh, okay.
If you did not know, this nerd runs deep.
It's also like the Catholic, Lutheran, Methodist,
yes.
Peace be with you, and also with you.
Yes, and it often gets done with Star Wars. May the Force be with you.
And also with you.
That has been said in many a church, I believe.
Yeah. Well, we are excited this morning. Obviously, we're in good spirits here. It's Valentine's Day. The sun is in the sky. Alexis is in the studio.
I love that.
As usual, we're going to start talking about books. So, Molly, what do you have for us this week? You teased it last week.
I did. I've got a snarky book, everybody.
Love that.
I loved this book beginning to end. Audio was great for you listeners out there. It's called I Hope This Finds You Well by Natalie Sue. And the way this book opens is beautiful. So our main character is getting pulled into HR's office because for several years now, she's been writing snarky comments at the bottom of her emails and just changing the font to white. And she forgot to change the font to white.
Oh, nice.
And so now she's getting pulled in because she said something pretty awful. And she really just tries to hide. She doesn't know her coworkers. They're all horrible people. And when she gets pulled in, it's a newer HR guy. And he's like, I'm sorry, we're going to have to punish you. You're going to have to come and watch these HR videos with me about how to be appropriate in the workplace. And we're going to put some software on your computer to watch what you're doing.
Oh, no.
Wow. So she leaves the office. He stands there and makes a big deal so everybody around her knows she's being punished and what they're doing to her computer. And then the next morning, she gets on her computer with these changes, and it's actually given her access to see all of her coworkers' computers.
Oh, fun.
So she gets to watch the chat where they're talking about her.
Oh,
she gets to watch and read the emails, the personal ones they send their family, the ones they send each other talking about her. She finds out they all think she's going to try to kill them, though mainly there's one girl who's very petty and mean that is trying to get her fired. She starts to find out all these new things. At the same time, she's getting to know Clint, the HR manager she has to watch the videos with, and he finds out she rides the bus to work, and he's driving by her house, so they start riding in the car.
Oh, my gosh, is this a hidden romance?
Yeah.
There's a hidden romance!
Oh, my gosh.
That's not HR friendly.
No!
This book it's the pettiest thing I've ever read, and then it completely redeems itself in the end. And that's what I wanted. I don't want to say too much, but every character you meet is going to be 6 times deeper than you expect. Every one of them have a sneaky, snarky, evil way to get back at the others. This is a ride. Just lean back and go. Just pick this book up. If you're looking for your next, classic, it's probably not going to make the classics list, but it is probably going to make the cult list at some point. So there will be people who will want to follow this type of book forever. If you're doing anti-Valentine's Day today, go grab this book.
Sure.
It does have a little romance towards the end, but the snarkiness and the Oh, it's just beautiful, my friends.
Sounds really fun. When it gets to the romance chili pepper scale on a 1 to 5.
1.
A 1 chili
Very low.
pepper.
This
Okay.
is very gentle. So if
Taste,
you're not
yeah.
into really hot, now the one I talk about next week.
I want to hear that
It's
one.
not the hottest one I've talked about, but it is going to be a good one. I just hit that point. So.
Okay. There we go.
But this one is called I Hope This Finds You Well by Natalie Sue. Go grab it. I think it was published last year. Wonderful read, listen. If you just want to get lost and you want to laugh a lot.
Okay.
That's where I'm at right now. February's for laughing.
I like that. February for laughs. Alexis, well, you said you have a good book recommendation for us.
I do. It's a bit older of a book. It's probably been, like maybe 6 or more years since I've read it. High school, believe it or not.
Okay. That still passes.
Yes. I'm like, wow, that was a lot longer for me.
I want to say that it was kind of a romance book. It more or less is. Probably like a 2 on your chili pepper scale.
Okay.
Nice.
It's kind of young adult, like in between adult and young adult. But it's called Every Day by David Levithan.
Okay.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
Have you read that one?
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of my all-time favorites, and every single person I have recommended it to loves it.
David Levithan is just, he's a genius.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So what's
And
it about? What happens?
So basically, it's about this main character who goes by the name of A, and every day they wake up in a different person's body.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. So it's essentially they're going every day, just going with the flow. Nothing's ever the same.
Right.
Eventually, they meet this girl. I cannot remember what her name is. I want to say it's starts with an R.
Yeah.
But
A&R.
It's
Yeah.
been a while.
Yeah.
We'll go with R. But eventually, they meet this girl and fall in love. And after meeting her and going through a couple of experiences with her and realizing that she is in like a really abusive relationship and like just really hating the situation that she is in and kind of wanting to help her and help her figure out who she wants to be. He ends up waking up in the same like guy, which I believe is her boyfriend at the time.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's kind of like I'm gonna show her that
Relationships can be saved.
Yes.
Like what
Yeah.
a good relationship looks
yes,
like.
and it's
Interesting.
really sweet.
Oh, and it's called
Aw.
Every Day by David Levithan.
Yeah.
So
It's
you
like
read it
a
in high
modern
school.
quantum leap.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. You read this in high school. This wasn't assigned reading. This was leisure reading.
Yeah.
Fun. That sounds. I'm intrigued. That sounds like my kind of book.
Please,
I know, you would like it.
suggest it.
I think I would.
Even Molly is like,
Yeah,
yes.
you love it.
Okay.
Okay,
all right.
but you got to realize I love all the books.
Yes.
Well, okay. So last week I bashed a classic.
You did.
I did. I
I'm
bashed.
still trying to recover. Mom and I discussed it after
I'm
I
sorry.
talked to you.
We had our therapy session. We figured out what
We
my
did.
issue was. I bashed The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. All of that. And
It hurt a little bit of my heart.
and this week I have another classic, but it's one that I liked.
Okay.
It was The Great Gatsby by F.
Oh,
Scott
okay.
Fitzgerald.
That's the book that made me stop reading Star Trek. Like chapter books
Oh,
in high
okay.
school. It was
So-
the first non-Star Trek chapter book that I was like, wow, there is great literature that doesn't have Spock in it.
Congratulations, Fitzgerald. Well, the fun fact about this book is that it was published in 1925. So this year, 2025, it's celebrating its 100th anniversary.
Wow.
And so if you love The Great Gatsby, I would recommend rereading it because it might be a minute since you've read it in the first place. If you have reread it and you want to read some maybe relatable fan fiction or some spin-offs or different things like that, there are a lot out there. I've got a couple that I'll list, and you can go and see other ones that are related because with a great classic comes great spin-offs.
Yes.
So Beautiful Villain, Rebecca Kenny wrote this. It focuses on Daisy. Daisy Finnegan is looking forward to the endless golden freedom of summer. She doesn't want to think about life after college or the newly awakened power of her voice, which has a way of making people do frightening things. But when her cousin goes missing at an exclusive house party, Daisy confronts the mysterious host only to discover the wealthy recluse is Jay Gatsby. So it's a little spin on a mystery, a childhood sweetheart, and of course he's now, and you can see where this is going, sinfully hot and impossible to deny.
This is a Molly book.
So that one is called Beautiful Villain. If you want to go into another direction, you can read Nick by Michael F. Smith. This was published in 2021. This is a tale inspired by Fitzgerald's famous narrator. It imagines the life of Nick Carraway before Gatsby, depicting him as a war-traumatized, heavily drinking man who embarks on a doomed journey of redemption from Paris to New Orleans.
Nice.
So what if Nick took a different path? And so there's just a lot that are out there. We could also look at, let's see, Beautiful Little Fools came out in 2022. It's by Gillian Cantor. After the events of The Great Gatsby, the West Egg police officers discover a diamond hairpin near the millionaire's pool, putting 3 women under suspicion for the murder of Jay Gatsby and the mechanic George Wilson. So there have just been a lot of people who, rightfully so, have been inspired by Fitzgerald's Great Gatsby, and so there's some great literature. There's some not so great literature.
Same with the movies. It depends on probably what generation you appreciate. I like the original film,
and I like Leo. So
you and I, are not on the same page on that one. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Like, I feel like 10 years ago, everybody was like celebrating and doing like the little like Great Gatsby like
parties.
thing.
Yeah.
But like now it's the 100-year anniversary.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. We're 10 years early.
We're in the roaring 2020s.
Yes.
People celebrate. All right. Well, with that, we will take a break. We'll come back on the other half and talk with Alexis about what's happening at the Maker Studio. You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned. Thank you, Mark.
Yes.
We're happy to be back on the air. We'll be on any time. Just let us fill in.
You can get up at 4:30 and come do my thing on Monday.
Nicole, do not volunteer us. Do not volunteer us.
Not enough coffee in the world, Mark.
No.
I'm sorry. Okay, we are back. It's Valentine's Day. We're in WDLR studios. We've got our buddy Alexis here, and she is talking about what's happening in the Maker Studio. Alexis, how long have you been working with us in the Maker Studio now?
It will actually be my 1 year here in March, like March 15th-ish.
Oh, perfect.
I'd
So we're
March.
coming up on the 1 year
know.
anniversary.
March.
Give our listeners, in case they don't know, give them a quick highlight of what the Maker Studio is at the Delaware County District Library.
Okay, so the Maker Studio is basically like a educational DIY space. So we provide you with the access and assistance to like machinery, like a laser engraver, a wide format printer, a sticker maker, button makers, all that good stuff.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff, and I know that when we were looking to expand the folks who helped out in that department, we were like, okay, these people have got to have like a really special skill set.
Yes.
So where did you come from? What's your background? How did you know that like this, you're like, yes, this is my job. Thank you.
Okay, so it's kind of funny because I have not done something so, I guess, creative in my line of like work, but I am a very creative person.
Yeah.
So I pretty much came from doing like retail, and I worked at Lowe's, that sort of thing. Like, I didn't ever do the IT and design work, but I went to college for doing design, graphic design and marketing kind of stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, wow, this is the best of both worlds.
You got
'cause-
customer service and you've got design. You put them together and it's the Maker Studio.
Yeah, and technology, it's like,
Right.
I love all that stuff.
Right.
And being able to be personable with the patrons and do everything that I love all in one every day, it's great. It's amazing. It's literally like my dream job.
You're helping them make their own magic.
Yes.
You're there to try to help them create things out of nothing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love watching you guys go.
A lot of people say that when they walk into when they think of the concept of the Maker Studio, it sounds intimidating. But then when they walk in, they feel very comforted by our staff who are there. And I know that you and the rest of the team are the primary reason for that. It's Valentine's Day. There have been some fun projects that people have been making. Can you give us some examples of some of the creativity that you see every day in the Maker Studio?
Ooh, specifically for Valentine's Day, I have not seen a whole lot of people doing like Valentine's Day projects specifically. However, we have had a class that we did, I believe, last week. So just before Valentine's Day, where we did wooden hearts with like, you know, your coordinates of where you met or, you know, that sort of thing, or your name's on it. You could do a photo if you wanted to. But I think they were like bamboo hearts that were, you know, about 4x4, 5x5 big. And then you just laser engraved on them whatever you wanted, really.
You know, you say this so easily,
Yes.
but like I think about the laser engraver and I'm like, I'm going to catch the library on fire.
Yeah.
But I'm not, because you're there to watch me and to help me when I'm like, fire, laser. And you're like, easy, safe.
Yes.
And you make it easy and safe for people to be able to do these adventures and make it less intimidating, because my brain can't wrap around how am I going to learn any of these new technologies,
Right.
you know? So like if a group, I'm in a Kiwanis group, and they came in and said to you, we want to laser engrave something for our 50th anniversary that's coming up. What kind of suggestions would you give?
Actually, something came to mind immediately.
Love this.
So you could do like wine glasses.
Oh,
as well.
nice.
So if you wanted to do like last name or your names or just a cute little heart, something like that.
You could do a heart, little arrow through it, because Cupid got you.
Exactly.
Cupid got you.
We matching wine glasses.
It's a great space for folks to come and experiment. They can say, you know, I've always been curious about a 3D printer. They can get started, and then we hope that folks go from there. You know, maybe they decide that they want to create a small business. They maybe start with a few things on our 3D printer. Then they get enough to get their own 3D printer. We really want this to be like a launching point for folks to, you know, learn and succeed. But you also say that you have folks who come in and they just use our stuff on a regular basis for things like the beautiful earrings that you're wearing.
Yes.
Yeah. So what sort of entrepreneurship have you seen in the Maker Studio?
Actually, this week we've had a lot of people coming in and doing like their own T-shirts.
Nice.
So there were like actually a couple. I think it was a local business in Delaware that was coming in, and they had ordered specific like type of prints to put on sweatshirts.
Okay.
So they were just printing prints on sweatshirts, and they were like, "Yeah, we sell these at our shop in Delaware." And I was like, "Oh, that's just so cool."
Yeah, we have a heat press. We have a Cricut that can do vinyl that you can press onto different materials. We also, in the Liberty, those are two items that are in the Delaware Maker Studio. In the Liberty Branch Maker Studio, we have a dye sublimation heat press, which is a little different. Can you explain what that one does and how that's different?
Essentially, it's a more permanent way of putting a design on fabric. Usually, we suggest like polyester. That's the one that holds it the best. So you just press your ink into the shirt or the material. Unfortunately, that one only works on lighter colors, whereas if you're doing the Cricut, you can do it on whatever color, like this.
Yeah. Is your shirt, for our watchers on Facebook, is your shirt Maker Studio made today?
Yes, it is.
I love it.
You are repping well. Yes.
She really is.
She's got a black hoodie on, and it's got a gold, moon decal on the pocket, and then other silver decals. It's very sparkly.
What I love is this does look like you could have bought this on a store.
That's what I've been told.
I know. Awesome. It's the best thing, because I look at, I used to use puffy paint, and you could tell I was using puffy paint in my own, garage and making a mess of it. This looks like professionally done. It takes your own crafting up that next notch.
Oh, yeah.
You get a lot of groups in the studio too. I know that I've been around when a friend is like, "Oh, hey, I'm down in the Maker Studio." The Girl Scout troop is learning how to adhere, heat press things onto gloves and things like that. How do those groups get in contact with you? How do they say, let us come and explore?
If anybody was asking me that, I would probably say, hey, send us an email.
Yeah.
Makerstudio at DelawareLibrary.org.
Makerstudio at DelawareLibrary.org. Send a note. But we also have a dedicated time. You mentioned this earlier for classes. So how can people get involved in any of the classes that we have?
You can either go ahead and send us an email, give us a call, or you can go online to the Delaware Library website, and it should be under events. Just make sure you check whether it's at Liberty or Delaware. There's always been a big confusion.
Right. That is crucial to know what your location is, because there are two different Maker Studios that have two different sets of equipment. The classes are always on Wednesday, and they are pre-registration because we can't give you the best customer service if we have 30 people surrounding you. We need it to be, between 5 and 8, really.
Let's talk about costs, too, because this is an inexpensive way to do a lot of these things. How do we charge at the library?
So we only charge you for the materials that you use. We provide some things. For example, like the laser, we do provide some flat materials like plywood, MDF boards, some acrylic. We're running low on colors, but we have a lot of clear. So you can either buy stuff from us, or you can bring in your own materials and not really pay anything.
And our items are at cost, right? We don't have any kind of markup, so this is about the cheapest that you can go.
Absolutely.
Right. This is also a good opportunity because we are slowly creeping into, I know you're going to hate to hear it, the end of the school year. And so if you are a parent of a graduating senior or a maybe 5th grader going on into middle school, or even if you celebrate going from middle school to high school and you want to put a banner in your yard, how would folks do that? What do folks do with their banners?
So you would want to sign up for a reservation slot at the Maker Studio. I believe right now we only have the Liberty printer working.
Okay.
But when both are up and running, you can reserve time at either one. Usually only takes about 20 to 30 minutes to print a banner about 4 feet long, so you shouldn't need more than an hour. We have templates currently at both locations for you to make your own. If not, I always tell people, if you want to get creative and be fancy about it, get on Canva and try that out.
Right.
Go ahead and make your banner, and then you'll just bring in that file. We'll help you get it set up to print, and then we'll watch it print, cut it off, and send you on your way.
Well, you even have the grommet maker, which is one of my favorites. It's a nice little hammer. It's really satisfying. A nice hammer that you can punch holes in your...
And you go useful for like graduation banners. I'm like, if you just want to put embarrassing pictures of your husband on a really big banner, we could just make that, Lloyd, who... If you're listening, I would never do that
or
to you.
A coworker who's celebrating a milestone birthday and you really want to celebrate them.
In 2026, for instance.
Exactly. 2 of us are celebrating milestone birthdays in 2026.
I follow the bicentennial. I'm a bicentennial baby, so.
That's wonderful. Well, Alexis, this has been, I hope, highly educational and informative and fun for all of our listeners to hear. I know I enjoy hearing about all the fun things that happen in the Maker Studio. Before we get into some of the events coming up, do you have a favorite project that you have helped a Maker Studio patron with that like rises to the top? One of your favorite projects that you've helped someone work on?
Oh my gosh, that's a hard one. I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Because they're all so wonderful.
Yeah, no, I guess actually, if I had to pick one, I actually helped someone with the sublimation. You can get kind of creative with it. We did one of those wind spinners.
Yeah.
You can like hang up.
Yeah.
You can buy sublimation ones that you can print whatever you want on it. And I think they did like some celebrity on it for one of their friends as like a gag gift.
Cute.
But it was really cute. That's really creative.
That is really creative. And always just, if you have any questions about, I have this idea and I want to bring it to life, email the Maker Studio, makerstudio@delawarelibrary.org, or pop in and pick any of their brains. They're open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and again Wednesday for classes. But it's just a great resource, and we hope to expand it, in the future. That would be really wonderful. So, Molly, what do we have coming up at the library this week?
I'm pretty excited about a program coming up on Tuesday. Like you said, we are getting towards the end of the year. The Liberty Branch has a teen do-it-yourself craft for stress toys.
Yeah.
So while you're studying, trying to keep yourself calm and focused, come in on Tuesday, February 18th, 5:30 to 6:30, and create your own stress toy.
And as we're speaking about things happening at the Maker Studio, there are still spaces available, which is rare, even 5 days out. So if we were just talking about banners coming up on Wednesday, February 19th at 10:30 at the Delaware Maker Studio is how to design an outdoor banner. That class will be happening. Also spaces available for how to create an embroidery design. That's a 1 o'clock class. And then if you just want to learn how to prepare graphics for engraving and printing, cut and prepare for Cricut, there are still spaces available. So it's your lucky day. If you're listening today, download the app and go to our events page, or just go to DelawareLibrary.org and click on our events. You'll see all the things that are happening.
And you can register right in the app, so you don't have to go anywhere else to do that. I also want to give a little shout out to Wednesday, February 19th. We have an Orange Family Story Time. If your whole family hasn't been able to make it to one, this one starts from 6 to 6:30 at the Orange Branch. Drop on in. Enjoy story time as a family.
Yep. And I would be remiss if I did not give love to the Rick Steves event that is happening on Thursday. There are limited tickets available. They're up in the nosebleed, but you still get to hear the world's foremost travel writer. So that is a conglomeration of all of the libraries in the Central Library Consortium. About 12 of us participate in this. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining us, Alexis. And thanks, Molly, Mark.
Always.
Yeah, you all have my heart.
Happy Valentine's Day. Until next time, we'll see you in the stacks.